Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed your little bit of a break on Monday nights, but we are back tonight. It is the start of a brand new season with new drivers, new numbers, new rules, and a whole bunch of other new goodies to share, as tonight is the Put It Out 250 presented by that of Hot Threads. Check out Threads, as that is Danny Cochran's thread company that he's just put out. But cannot wait. Tonight is the start of a brand new season. Season 5 is upon us, and we are ready to give you all the racing here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is Zach Hall. Zach, crazy to think that the off season's already done and a brand new season has now begun for us.
That it is a brand new season, Sam. Season number 5. Crazy to say that also, that we've been here for 5 seasons. So we've got to see this done 4 previous times before, and they've been some pretty classical races. I look back even the last season, that 4-wide finish. It was one to definitely be remembered for a while. We'll see what these guys can produce here tonight at the high banks at the Daytona International Speedway, but I'm expecting another exciting opener here for ISRC.
It definitely should be. And some of the other new goodies that have popped out for the ISRC Truck Series. Race Car Graveyard has been known for being the title sponsor for the first 4 seasons. Well, we have swapped things up. Larry Art Productions, who originally started off as just sponsoring races, then decided to sponsor Danny Cochran, then turned into the Stage Break sponsor, the White Flag sponsor, and now starting for Season 5, welcome to being the title sponsor of Season 5 for the ISRC Truck Series. We are now the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series. It's going to be a fun season to cover, as if you'd like to go check out some great comedy videos, as well as eating reviews and other great entertainment, go head over to Larry Art Productions on all social medias and check out the YouTube channel today. There's also tons of other sponsors that we're going to shout out later on tonight, but currently qualifying is underway, and it is going to be the 49, a rookie of Ryan Bird, topping the board. We got a total of 5 rookies that are going to be racing here this season. We'll touch on those, but Zach, qualifying, got a minute and a half left before it's done.
Well, I would say, Sam, it's funny that we talk about the pole position and how, good it is to get that. But looking in previous history, you were looking through it here before this race, and being the pole setter and leading the most laps this race is not a good combination. Actually, the best job a pole setter has done so far in the first 4 races here at Daytona for ISRC is a 10th place position. So all other drivers were located outside the top 10. So just starting up front could be a good start for yourself, but it could quickly slip away here at these super speedways, as it's known to twist and turn throughout the night. So we'll see what Ryan Bird can do and maybe change that story of the pole setter having a really bad night.
Some drivers trying to take that lead position if possible. The one machine now going to be Martin Morales. Talked about new drivers, new numbers. Well, there's one of them, Martin, switching from the 91 to the 1. Sticking with old classics, it's the 19, Tyler Dengler, who's going to be trying to go for this pole award if possible for himself. And it's so great to be seeing all these drivers coming together for another season. The field's going to be a little bit smaller here tonight than what we've seen other debut races for seasons have been. We're expecting the field to continue to grow throughout the season, but Tyler Dengler, 20th position on that first lap. The second comes across the line, wanting to top the board. And you see not a lot of shifting going on. That's because the 19 only up to 13th position. Other drivers trying to get their last positions in if possible. It's going to be Mason Cassidy, another rookie of ours in the 17. Going to be trying to get the time in, but will run out of time. Qualifying is officially done. And it means it's the start of the season, about to ramp up. And Zach, it's crazy to think, again, the offseason's done, brand new season, Season 5. I mean, we started off with these guys all the way back in Season 1 when they decided to expand from a Cup Series, and then they turned into their own entity. But a 5th season, a lot of these drivers know how to run with one another.
That they do. It's going to be fun to see how these rookies mesh in here. There's 5 of them that have joined the class, and we'll see how they can start it off here tonight with a few of them in the field. So it's going to be fun to watch, Sam, and see how the Season 5 develops like just all the other 4 did.
Well, let's see how the drivers are going to be starting out here this evening. First race, first qualifying results of Season 5, and it's going to be the 49 rookie of Ryan Bird. You've seen him in other series we've covered here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Well, he wanted to dip his toes in the Truck Series, and he'll take the pole for his first ever race in the Truck Series. Trent Jump, Season 2 champion, going to be starting in second place. Dakota Moniz going to be starting in third. Eric Stamp, a winner of the opener back in Season 2. He will be starting in that of fourth place. Noah Steele in fifth position. Cody Reed sixth. Malik Kuntz in seventh position with Kyle Rochelle eighth. Ninth is John Forbes. Art Morales finishing out your top 10.
In the 11th starting position, it's going to be the 34 of Ryan Ferraro. Another rookie to the class here is Matt Dyer there in the 28th, starting in the 12th position. 13th is going to go to Tyler Dingler. 14th is going to go to Ali Fonseca, one of the Final Four contenders from last season. And our champion from last season going to follow him up there in the 15th position on Nick Crawford. 16th is going to be Logan Breakey. 17th is going to go to the 77 of Mark Whitley. 18th is the 6th of Justin Smith. 19th is going to go to the 2 of Danny Cochran. And rounding out the top 20 is the 38 of Christopher Norris.
Then in 21st positions, the 14 of GT Irizarry. 22nd spot, it's going to be the 16 of Joshua Kanata. Another one of our rookies, going to be the 99 of Chase Schaefer, who just a late entry, signed up last night, able to be running here this evening. In 24th spot, going to be another rookie, that's TJ Crampton in the 72. Austin Halsey in 25th, with Joshua Freed in 26th position. In 27th, going to be our final rookie running here this evening. It's the 17 of Mason Cassidy. 27 drivers running here this evening, and again, huge shout out to all the new sponsors that have been tackling and adding on to the ISRC Truck Series, that being Team Watson Racing Setups, as well as the Lap coming back for another season. Another new sponsor going to be of seeing the Morecast 5 joining, as well as the Armadillo Motorsports joining in, as this season gonna get started. 90 laps here this evening. Stage break at the end of lap 35. No fast repairs. 4 extra sets of tires in pit road. And all here, Zach, with a brand new damage model. And a lot of these drivers excited with what they're gonna bring out here tonight.
It's going to be exciting, Sam, because that damage model has changed a few things around. Not only that, a little bit of the super speedway package has changed. So I expect to see aggressive bump drafting out there. These drivers are going to be able to lean on the bumpers a little bit harder. But also with that damage model, if you get in one of those big wrecks, I don't think the car is going to be as forgiving, where you're going to be knocking bumpers off, you're going to be knocking the suspension off. So there's multiple different ways to get knocked out of this race now with this damage model. So it's going to be cool to see how they fare with this, but it's going to be 90 laps, 35 to that first stage. Cannot make it on fuel, so we'll see how the strategy plays out with that. I think we'll have tons of different strategies playing out in this first stage.
And also in the trends, we were talking about a lot of the trends of the pole sitter, the driver that leads the most lap doesn't find themselves in a victory lane. Well, another stat to watch out for, our first caution of the race has been split. Either the first caution happens in the first 5 laps of a race, or it happens with 3 laps to go in the stage. So drivers concerned for the first yellow, as drivers are already having issues right on the start. They didn't even take the green, and drivers are having mistakes, as we are now green for the Put It Out 250 presented by the Hot Threads. Green flag for Season 5.
Whoa, Sam, that's a crazy way to start the season already. I think one of the drivers around was Tyler Dingler in the 19 machine, along with Ryan Ferraro and Joshua Freed. They lost the pack pretty much already and have lost the draft, but it's going to be Trenton Jump up front taking the lead as they come out of turn 2, and he's going to have the help of his teammate there, of Eric Stamp, as they look to come off that high line with a ton of speed.
On his speed and trying to get themselves rattled off as the field completely scrapped and scattered. Usually the whole entire pack stays as one. Instead, we are already seeing pods of drivers just in lap number 1, but it's going to be up front. The top driver is going to be seeing the Armadillo Racing teammates of Trenton Jump, Eric Stamp working as one, but it's Ryan Bird, Dakota Moniz on the inside groove. Who's leading lap number 1 as they cross the line? It's going to be Armadillo Motorsports with the nose. Trenton Jump leads lap number 1.
Jump looking to start off his season in a strong way by leading the first lap of this season number 5 here, and looks like they're going to continue to hold that outside line. And you can see already the aggression. You can push even a little bit off center with these trucks now and still have the confidence to push through the corners. So the biggest thing they're going to have to fight tonight is probably the temperatures more than anything, keeping them nice and cool so you can continuously push. But a little bit there of the first contact that didn't like it as Trent Jump went a little bit sideways down the back straightaway, and that's always a little bit of a heart-throbbing moment.
You're trying to find the limits of where you could find the speed, and that's all in bump drafting, staying in line, getting as close as you can. And the teammates of Armadillo Motorsports, known for sometimes going over the line and finding themselves wrecking each other. They're hoping that that doesn't happen this evening as Eric Stamp trying to woo his teammate ahead of the 49. Did go back. The incident that happened at the start of this race is Ryan Bird having slight internet issues there, blinking away. But the initial start, there was major contact between Ollie Fonseca and Tyler Dangler that also collected Ryan Ferraro. Big losses for Ryan Ferraro and Tyler Dangler. They have lost the pack officially. And the second group being led by the teammates of Danny Cochran and Ollie Fonseca. But Zach, that is not the way that this field was expecting Season 5 to start out.
It was definitely not the way that I know Tyler, Ryan Ferraro, and Joshua Freed didn't want to. And even Mason Cassidy, I mean, he lost the draft due to a lot of that checking up. So 4 trucks already lost the draft, and in 35 laps, they will go a lap down. So they're going to have to hope for something, maybe to bring that yellow flag out so they don't get trapped a lap down, or just hope to be in the lucky dog position when that comes around. But here already in these opening 4 laps, a little bit of aggression being shown farther back. It looks like Mark Whitley, the first one to jump out to the top 3rd lane and make it 3 wide up here soon.
Mark Whitley going to be trying to bounce into that 3rd lane, hoping to find any type of help as right on board with Danny Cochran in the 2 machine, our Season 3 champion, as he's got the 11 of John Forbes right in front of him. And you can see the claustrophobic feeling, drivers packed right on top of one another as the 2 has to ride that yellow line because he's still stuck side by side. Any little drift up to move high, we'll find some contact as it finally gets clear, but in a sense again of what these drivers are feeling like. The 7 right there, that is actually Mark Whitley, who is in the 77 machine on our ticker. So any confusion, watch out, as that of the German Motorsports driver in kind of the you could say the Jeff Gordon scheme, Zach, that is Mark Whitley that's in that 7.
That it is definitely Mark Whitley. They're like maybe forgot to get the paint scheme swamped before the thing started out. But oh, in the background there, we're going sideways as we got a few drivers. Looks like Christopher Norris, the one that's losing out big there in the 38, is that was a huge stack of a momentum loss there. And I think Danny Cochran involved with it too there in the 2 machine.
Yeah, drivers trying to make some big moves. It looked like there was just a miscommunication of drivers on what movements they wanted to make, and now in danger of losing the draft as seeing the 38, the 2, and others falling backwards, about to lose some more contact, as that's also Logan Brakey in the 29 and the 16 of Joshua Kanata in this group. They're trying not to lose the draft, but luckily there's 4 of them, so if they can get in line, start catching up, they might not lose fully. The draft is up front, now going to be led by both of the Armadillo Racing teammates. Eric Stamp deciding to hold the outside lane as Trent Jump leads the bottom.
This is a classic maneuver that I see sometimes teammates pull, is lead both lines, because then you can control the race. When you're both stuck on that outer groove, it makes it where, you know, that inside lane gets a run. You can't really do nothing about it. But now with them 2 leading both lanes, they have complete control of this field. And now they're just hoping everybody sticks 2 by 2, because it'll be those 2 fighting for the lead. And to come by here and complete lap 6 of this 35 first laps here in this stage, you know, we could be seeing pit stops happen soon here with people not being able to make it on fuel. I think a few drivers may elect to come to pit road here early and get the pit stop out of the way. So if a caution was to come out, they'd cycle to the lead.
Trying to keep themselves and their nose clean as drivers staying in line, wiggling around, trying to find any type of momentum to stay ahead of the other competition in front of them. As take a look at some of the drivers running some brand new schemes. As you see the 8 there, that's Noah Steele, still part of Armadillo Motorsports, running the JP sign on the hood. That's how you can figure out who's part of that Armadillo's team, and they're making their moves now into pit road. It's going to be the majority of drivers from Desert Snow Racing, as well as Larson Line coming in as an alliance group, and a huge pack of drivers as one.
Yeah, this is a big old group of them here, Sam, and this is kind of what I was expecting when they come to pit road here, because, you know, right now they'll be able to clearly make it. They fill these tanks up and get to the end of the stage, probably no tires here, and just get right back out there, have clean track all to themselves, and now they'll see if they can make better time than this lead back here. They could cycle around when all the pit stops do get there.
And we do officially have our first lost driver of the night, the 19 of Tyler Dangler, has been lost from connections. The 19's going to hope to get reconnected back to this race, but that was not the way that he wanted his season to start out. Caught up in that incident that was right before the race even went green officially, and the 19 lost now 2 laps down. We're trying to reconnect back in, but might be even 4 to 5 laps down by the time that he is back in his vehicle and rolling. He's going to need a lot of cautions of that of Tyler Dangler and the 19 to get back into this race. So we move up and take a look at some of these drivers and some moves on the outside, trying to get rolling. These drivers up front.
Big run here from the 6 machine of Justin Smith as he's rolling right up to the back bumper of the 3 trucks ahead of him. As looks like right now Eric Stamp going to jump down from that top line out of the front of the 1 machine of Martin Morales there. That's going to leave just Martin Morales and GT Irizarry up on that top groove behind the 6 of Justin Smith. So looks like right now the bottom lane working well, but the outside's able to get the run. Now Martin Morales going to fight for the lead with the push from GT Irizarry.
Martin Morales wanting to lead a lap. Eric Stamp leads that one officially. But the 1 trying his best to get up front. Actually, I take that back. He led it by 0.04 of a second. Was Martin Morales that lap. So he gets the bonus point for leading a lap. As all these drivers hoping to lead as many laps as possible. And Zach, I know we were looking at the stats coming into this night. It's the start of the season. We were looking again. We talked about the pole and also most laps led. How usually the drivers that get those positions don't find themselves in a victory lane. I know there were some other stats that you were curious about if they could break those records.
I was very curious to see if they could come in here tonight and break their lead changes record. So up to this point, they've actually had 3 races go at or above 36 lead changes. So they've had 36 twice, and then once before they've had 37. So I was wondering if maybe tonight we could have see 38. But with the separation in the field here in this first stage, I don't know if we'll get to that point. I mean, later in the race, we're going to bunch them all back up, of course, and they can change everything. But right now, I don't know if there's enough energy and enough, trying to get out there and lead laps. I think a lot of guys are settling in here in this first stage and wait until they get to 35 to try to get those bonus points, because a lot of what this race comes down to is surviving. And you look at someone like Martin Morales out in front of this field here. He's a driver that he knows if he goes out here and wins tonight and can survive through the majority of this race to give himself a shot, that could actually propel him into the playoffs. That could be the key feature for him. So a few guys here coming here tonight knowing, hey, my playoffs could be on the line just in this one race.
And they know it's so crucial. So many points could be massive. I mean, Joshua Freed, who currently is off the pace from everyone else, he's just happy that he made it through lap 1. 39 last season, caught up in the lap 1 wreck that he never officially finished 1 lap, so he never got points. And points are so crucial, like you said, to make it into the playoffs. Every little bit matters, as these drivers in the lead pack really starting to see that outside line just completely disappear in these last handful of laps. And now it's just seeing drivers on the outside working as one. And that's going to be Malik Kuntz and Justin Smith trying to kind of work their own way forward as they're making this outside lane just kind of work a little bit here. Zach, the side drafting, allowing these 2 trucks to make their way forward.
It is actually very impressive to see how well these 2 trucks are working together and able to run themselves up here and almost be able to contend for the lead. So huge moment for that 6 of Justin Smith with the help of Malik Kuntz there in the 98. And Malik Kuntz is a driver who definitely wants to start off his season on a roll after we've seen what he went through majority of last season. He wants to start off on a good note here at Daytona and stop the trend of bleeding that he had throughout majority of his last season. And as this was all going down, an interesting thing played out here, Sam, is we had Danny Cochran. He pulled out of the race.
Pulled it into pit road and has called it a night early for our season 3 champion of Danny Cochran. And I was talking to Danny, and he was kind of getting concerned coming into this race during the practice portion of the session being up. The drivers have a 1-hour session before qualifying. They can really hone in any type of nitpicks that they need to, and Danny was having some connection issues that he really was not feeling comfortable about, and he has now pulled it into pit road, called it a night. The 2 is done, and we got to move up to the lead because they are getting chaotic up there. 3 wide for the lead, and it's going to be Eric Stamp taking the point as his teammate of Trent Jump gives the push. Same for GT Irizarry, and they're going to continue to stay 3 wide, battling for 5th place.
With that type of race, we might be able to break the lead change record if we continue to do that. That just shows you the type of pushes you can make and how much you can mix it up with this package currently with this truck. And those 2 teammates out front, they worked that to really the wonder of myself there, watching them go through that and make the passes. So good job on them. And I mean, it's just a tale of two different packs. We saw that one pack, you know, just moments before that. They're all lined up. They've got their pit stop done, so they're trying to make the best time possible. While these leaders up front, they're trying to race their heart out right here and, you know, get up front and battle for them.
I'm looking at the times of the drivers that pitted in this lead group. It's crazy, Zach. This lead group's about a second off of what their fastest time was. Is there a chance that maybe this lead group is running as slow as they are, trying to save some fuel to make it to the end of this stage?
It was something that came to my mind, Sam, for sure, because I talked to a few drivers out there, and they were saying around 34, 35 laps is as much as you can go. I think a lot of reason why you have people not looking to stretch it that far is because they know they have to technically do 36, because that caution comes out at the completion of 35. Then you have to come back around at pace speed and get back to pit road. And I think that's where a lot of people worry about getting back there. But at the same time, that could be the stage winning strategy. So I think that's maybe why you're seeing less aggression in this pack and a few guys maybe willing just to drop back and ride for the moment here on this line. And like you said, the lap times were definitely off pace. Now that they've gotten lined up single file, though, they have somewhat found a little bit more pace and matching that group that's behind them, but still lost a good chunk of time there during that little bit of that battle.
That 3-wide action get a little bit more racy, could lose on pace, but certainly makes things dramatic for us up in the booth, as we are currently 16 laps into this race, about to be the start of lap 17. We do have a stage break for these drivers at the end of lap 35. And once the end of lap 35, top 10 drivers will get bonus points. So we're expecting it to get very racy, where 2 of the last 4 races here to start out the season at Daytona have found themselves having a caution with 3 or less laps to go until the stage was going to be thrown. Stage break yellow was going to be thrown. So drivers also understand they can get very antsy at the ends of these runs, because we know it's not an if, it's a when we're going to see the big one and a massive wreck that could collect a lot of these drivers and their night.
I have a good feeling, Sam, we're going to see that for sure happen at least once tonight. I've seen a few pushes that, you know, like I said, these trucks, you can get super aggressive with them now with the Super Speedway package and really push and lean on the back bumpers with the noses of your truck on the driver ahead of you to really make a huge speed boost. But I have seen moments where they get a little bit off center, a little bit left to the left, or a little bit to the right of the back bumper of that truck ahead, and it can kind of somewhat want to turn that truck the opposite way of where they're located. So if you're to the left of them, it's going to want to turn them right. If you're to the right of them, it's going to want to turn them left. So if we see one of those moments where someone gets turned right and they're leading this race, it could be a complete, you know, the whole field involved, and maybe only a few scathing through it. And with no fast repair, that could be the make or break situation here. So drivers got to be always on the lookout here at Super Speedway Racing.
Watch out where you're going to be, as these drivers all trying to find the momentum and their partner to work with. It's the teammates of Eric Stamp, Trenton Jump leading the charge. Drivers, though, in the back half of this group, got a couple of rookies working back here, as you've got that of Matt Dyer, the highest running of the rookies, in 9th place. And then as well, you fall back to 13th position. It's going to be TJ Crampton in 72. That's going to be also part of this lead pack that's just staying in touch and waiting until they feel like pouncing. And also in 9th position is another rookie. That's going to be Chase Scoutfire, who's going to be in that 99 machine. A lot of late entries here to have 5 rookies running for Rookie of the Year. A little bit of a smaller rookie class, but looking at some of the stats that these drivers are bringing in, I gotta say, Zach, this is gonna be a fun rookie class to watch, because I think there's a lot of speed that could challenge some of the top dogs in this league.
No doubt, Sam. I think there's definitely going to be a couple of those 5 that are really up front charging and, you know, really pushing these veterans that have been around here a few seasons and make themselves better. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But, you know, so far, this race right here has been pretty calm. We've had a few, you know, wild moments, but I think everybody focusing already, knowing how competitive it was to get into that top 16 in the last couple of seasons. They know how important each and every point matters. They want to get to these stages. So if something was to happen, they're at least in a good points position, you know, a good, not in the worst points loss position. So it makes their situation a little bit better heading out of Daytona, because if you put yourself in a hole here, it's tough to dig out of it.
As we're looking at this group that has already made their pit stop and are good to take us to the end of our stage break. The lead pack trying to save fuel to see if they can go all the way to the end of the stage or if they're going to have to make an emergency pit stop. But leading this pack of drivers, John Forbes, Cody Reed, two drivers formerly a part of the Blackjack Racing team that is now no longer. Blackjack Racing used to be John McAdams, as well as John Forbes, Cody Reed, and Ethan Smith. Well, McAdams has moved away from racing in the ISRC Truck Series. Ethan Smith actually was removed from the league after last season. And now we had that of Cody Reed, John Forbes, kind of lost, looking for a home. Well, they joined two drivers that made the Final Four, teaming up with Nick Crawford and Christopher Norris, as this group also partnered up with Larson Line Racing as this pack trying to have their alliance racing. But Zach, that is looking like the powerhouse of all racing teams coming into this season.
It really does look to be that way for sure. I mean, you look at someone like Forbes. I mean, he was so close to making it in the Final Four. Cody Reeves had his moments. He's got a win last season for the first time. You know, Forbes again up there with the greatest of them all in stats wise. So that adds two drivers to Christopher Norris and Nick Crawford, who were both in the Final Four. Nick Crawford, the champion, it only stacks that team just that little bit more. So Snowy Desert Racing, they'll be making some noises. They're making noise for the lead right now. It looks like Justin Smith with the push there from Malik Kuntz once again. It looks like Matt Dyer's also worked his way up there. He wants to taste a little bit of this lead position. So these drivers working hard, but a little bit of a bump there in the center of the corner. That was almost the six around there. Luckily, Kuntz is able to back off of him and not cause too much of an issue there, because that could have been our first wreck of the night.
Riding on board with Matt Dyer. Also, can't state he is my brother, so I'm hoping the best for the 28th machine, but trying to keep myself unbiased at times as the 28th will find a slot down the inside groove. Going to lead Malik Kuntz as well as Justin Smith, all on the high side. And top three drivers are drivers that I know personally. I've watched Matt race in a lot of leagues, as well as Trent Jump and Eric Stamp. These are three drivers that have raced for years in a bunch of different leagues throughout the years on their career in iRacing. Watch out for these three drivers, and they're not officially on a team, that of Matt Dyer with Armadillo Racing, but the 28 certainly knows how to drive around this crew.
That he does, and it's good to have that experience of racing around people like that. You get to really learn their tendencies and know how they're going to react to certain situations. And looks like we're now completely single file here, Sam. This makes me question and wonder, are a few of these guys looking to maybe get that pit stop done here in the next few laps by, you know, making this lane just one single file line, or will we have someone try to stretch it? I think that's going to be the big question here in this first stage for all of us out here watching, is who's going to try to stretch it, and when does these drivers finally pit, and do we see that second group jump them? Because again, the lap times have been 2 to 3 tenths quicker from that second group. They could have a good sizable lead and be looking to battle it out for stage one if everybody does have the pit.
They got a sizable lead, but at the same moment, this lead back, if they really are trying to make this run, stretch it all the way out to the stage break and keep track position, they also could just back off on their pace. They have over a 30-second gap lead from first all the way back to 16th position. So if they give up a second or so, they'll still have over 20 seconds over that second pack for each lap that goes on by. So they're still in a very comfortable spot if this group makes that decision of backing off. But looking at their lap times, still running faster than that group that already came into pit road. But I take that back. Actually, that other group just found some extra speed.
Yeah, it's kind of titter-tap back and forth, you know, kind of one group goes a little faster, one group goes a little faster the next time by. So it's going to be interesting to see if when it does cycle through and if these drivers can make it. I mean, like you said, Sam, they could totally back up their pace a ton. The person that would, you know, be the one that worries the most is currently Eric Stamp. He's the one that's out front breaking the draft. And guess what? Here they come to pit road. And it looks like a lot of drivers coming down, and it looks like mostly that group of teammates.
It's going to be Trenton Jump, Eric Stamp, Kyle Rochelle, Martin Morales as well. It's going to be Noah Steele, Logan Brakey, and joining them going to be a lap car of Ryan Ferraro, all into pit road. A good cluster of drivers. You don't want to come in with just 3 or 4. You want 5 or more to keep up good pace with the drivers around. And Noah Steele overshoots his pit stall. That is a costly mistake that could be losing him the draft and potentially going a lap down.
That could be a huge mistake, Sam. I think the lucky thing for him is it's happened so late in this run. He may be able to just hang on to that lead lap, but what we get to see here is that second group blows by them right here.
Black flag, Eric Stamp, Trenton Jump, the two drivers dominating this race, both with black flag speeding penalties on entry.
I got to say, when I seen them come down, they looked like they were going extremely fast. And the reason why that black flag is a hold in the box is they were excessively speeding. I mean, both of them were way over. I'm talking 25 to 26 mile an hour faster than what the pit speed was. So just a misjudgment by them two. And that right there, more than likely, will put them a lap down.
And I'm looking, that whole entire group, no one really came out together except for Kyle Rochelle and Mark Morales. They're trying to hitch a ride to potentially be caught up with the drivers that already made their pit stop, but they were going so fast, there's no way to get up there. Instead, we're left with that of 8 drivers in this lead pack, and it's Matt Dyer leading the way with Justin Smith, GT Rosari, Malik Kuntz, Ryan Bird, also Chase Guffer is going to be as well as Mark Whitley, Austin Halsey, all in this group. Tagged along are a couple of other lap cars. But this lead pack now has to make the hard decision. Do they continue to stay out? Because the majority of this group, all were in the back half of the pack, just saving as much fuel as possible.
We'll see who can save enough. And the thing I'm watching right now is the lap times are dipping. We've just seen a 50-second lap turn up front and now a 49.7. So right now, that second group's turned up the wing to about a 48.1. So we're seeing upwards of almost 2 seconds of a difference in lap time. Now, it's not going to be enough to catch up to them, but, you know, if these other drivers have to pit, they're definitely going to jump them. So that's going to be the thing we got to watch out for, is who saved the fuel back here and who didn't, because at some point, these drivers are going to have to hit pit road to get that fuel in their car if they didn't save the amount they need.
It's all about the numbers game to this point, and the number we're aiming for, and a lap 35 is going to be our stage. Top 10 drivers get bonus points. If you win the stage, you maximize with 10 bonus points. Second gets 9, third gets 8 points, and it continues to dwindle down until 10th place. Get 1 bonus point for that stage finish. Rest of the field, they get nothing at the stage, but you can get other bonus points. Leading the lap, leading the most laps, and also winning the race can lock you into the championship and lock you into a playoff berth to go for a championship, which all these drivers are hoping to grab. If you're just joining us, welcome to the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series Season 5 race opener here at Daytona for the Put It Out 250 presented by Hot Threads, and it's another pack of drivers hitting pit road.
Here we go, more and more hitting pit road. Looks like Justin Smith will lead them down. 3 wide entry here between Malik Kuntz, GT Azari, and Mark Whitley. They're going to get this figured out before they get to their boxes. And look at this, GT had to slow way up to get in there. He might even miss his box, possibly. You can see just little mistakes all around from different drivers. And it looks like even Justin Smith too far to the inside for him on pit road. So a huge hiccup for a lot of drivers there.
And he's going to be and Justin Smith, this just turns into a massive nightmare as he just continues to not be able to get into his box the way that he wants. And it is going to be maybe the 6 going a lap down after he finally gets service done and is taking off. But up front, we're left with just 4 drivers, that are running up front that still need to come into pit road. And it looks to be just Matt Dyer by himself hitting pit road. The other group is deciding to stay out.
Now, Matt's going to have to hope that he comes out around some of the drivers that pit behind him before. Maybe with some of the hiccups they had, he'll be able to come out right with them, but we'll see how that works out, because right now, 3 drivers yet to pit: Ryan Bird, Chase Schaefer, and also Austin Halsey. So these 3, do they have enough fuel to hold back? Because Cody Reed leading that second group, if they want to see everybody come down. They want those 10 bonus points for that team.
They are flying again. It's all the waiting game. 5 laps to go before the stage is done. It's going to be that of Ryan Bird in the 99, the 4 in this lead group. Also, Tyler Dangler, who was able to get reconnected back into the server. He is in 26th position. Again, if you're just joining us, our Season 3 champion of Danny Cochran decided to pull off and call it a night early. Our only official DNF of the evening. 26 drivers out there on track, but we do have a lot of drivers 1 lap down. Trenton Jump, Eric Stamp, 1 lap down after their black flag hold, and it would be Trenton Jump getting that lucky dog position if the flag were to come out now.
Still Ryan Bird leading the way up front. We'll see, do they have enough fuel? This 49, this 99, and this 4. If they pull this off, this will be a huge moment and a huge step up for Ryan Bird, who, I mean, you know, set on pole, now back to the lead. He would love to get these 10 bonus points, because if that trend of a bad finish for the pole setter happens, at least he'll have something to fall back on tonight that he gained.
And also getting some more black car action, as that's Justin Smith, who had a terrible pit stop for himself. He's now fighting to stay on the lead lap, and Tyler Dingler deciding to help out the 6 machine, working on the outside, trying to find ways to unlap themselves and at least minimize the amount of loss as we're riding on board with Ryan Bird looking backwards. The Schaefer, Halsey, all trying to figure out how to keep up their momentum. But Zach, I would say at this point, if you're staying out for this long, I would imagine you're just staying out completely, unless you're coming to pit road now.
I think these drivers are going for it, Sam. I got to completely agree with you, because it's just too long now to, if you're going to go down, and just too little trucks to try to come out and still have a good finish for the stage. I think more than anything, Ryan Bird loves what he's seeing with Justin Smith jumping up in front of him. That gives him the ability just to draft off of him and allow them to save just that much more fuel. And they're saving a ton, because they're running 51.67 compared to Cody Reed's 48.64. So upwards of 3 seconds of a lap time difference there between that group. And that just shows you how much they're lifting through the straightaways, through these corners, to allow this car to save, or truck to save the fuel. Because again, they can get in the 35, I think, no problem. I think getting around for 36 to come back to pit road is going to be what their concern is.
And also, how racy is this lead pack going to be? Are they willing to just settle for where they're at currently, or will they decide to make some big moves that could throw them into some pretty bad situations? Because we know that this lead group, they could try to go side by side, gain as many positions as they can, you know, swapping of our top 3 of who wants to get that maximum 10 points or 9 or 8. But do you really want to put yourself in a endangered position? As for 4th on back, they might be in a spot where they might have to get a little bit racy, because they're in a much smaller pool of points to be grabbing.
It really could get racy from that position on back for sure. And look here, look, already 99. He jumps to the outside of Ryan Bird, and I think he's going for it. He wants to go and get the stage win. And the thing is, I think he feels like he's got enough fuel to get back around, but does he have enough for the very, very end of, you know, the sequence before we come to pit road? That's going to be the question for him, because, man, he's driven up to Justin Smith and is trying to drive away from these 3 behind him.
It's time to giddy up and go, as Chase Schaefer going to be tackling and getting to the back bumper of the 6, not trying to give any assistance. Ryan Bird still keeping a pretty decent gap back, as we are coming to the end of this stage, and it's going to be Chase Schaefer closing across the line. Not bad for a rookie that signed up last week. Coming across the line, he's going to be good. Ryan Bird already clutching. He's giving up, and oh no, drivers run into one another, and it's the 19 getting absolutely blasted by the 39. Oh no, that's not the way they wanted the stage to end, but the trend continues on.
Oh man, Sam, and that's the second time Tyler Dingler's been ran over here tonight, on the start of the race, and then right there coming to the end of the stage. I think the drivers ahead of him were looking to just slow down and save fuel and push the clutch in. So Tyler Dingler had to check up. Like 39 of of Joshua Freed just probably didn't notice what was going on there and ran right through him. So huge moments there for sure for Tyler Dingler, who's been trying to come back from 4 laps down after that disconnect.
It's just situational awareness not there, but the winner of the stage goes to the 99. Chase Schaefer, congratulations. In your very debut race, you win the stage, and that's going to be a maximum of 10 points going to the 99 machine, who now still in a scary spot, needs to find a way to save the fuel to get to pit road, and automatically sending it into pit road, as the 99 could just went as far as they needed. And now it's time for a pit stop.
An interesting call being made there, because I'm wondering, looking at pit road entry, the lights were flashing red on pit road entry. So I think pit road was still closed there. That's why you're seeing everybody else go past, but the drivers that didn't are coming to pit road now. So they're going to, you know, win the stage there and get those points, but I believe they're going to all get a penalty for entering a closed pit here, which more than anything will be a drop to the tail end of the longest line.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, and I think that's why drivers were willing to just drive into pit road. You get that end of the longest line penalty where you get set there on the next restart, get tires, fuel, get back out there for yourself, as we will be taking our first commercial break of the evening. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, with being with us here for the first race of Season 5 of the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series. It's the Put It Out 250. A lot of drama already in the first 35 laps. Well, let's see who's going to get the win here tonight. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be back right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom. Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down in the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. Or it's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, of the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series. Up front, it's going to be Daytona Moniz, Mark Morales leading the charge on the inside. Outside lane led by Matt Dyer in the 28. As we are back to green flag action. No longer will there be stage breaks. It's about racing it to the end now. Who will win the debut race of Season 5? As it is all the 5 up front. Daytona Moniz, a winner in the past, all the way back at Talladega in Season 1, hoping to get to victory lane again for the 5 machine, but this time at the other super speedway track. But will he have a little bit of help, because the outside lane is now moving. Here comes the driver that's won the most here at Daytona, the 2-time opener winner of John Forbes.
He always seems to find his way to the lead at some point during these opening races, and right now he's been pushed straight up there by Matt Dyer there in that 28 machine. Great pushes from the 28. That allows 11 to jump down in front of the 5, and he quickly does that, allowing now Matt Dyer to have clean air up top, and we'll see can that 28 get himself back to the lead as he was leading right before the end of that stage.
Right when drivers were in the middle of their pit cycles, the 28 was leading, but now he's going to be squeezed almost in the middle groove as they are getting very tight in the middle of this section. As Matt Dyer hoping that maybe the 6 will just fall in line, but they are still in a 3-wide motion. 20 is trying to find a way to get into a groove as Oli Fonseca now moves to the middle lane, searching for any type of ground. There's a lot of movement going on here, Zach. This is the danger zone drivers are concerned about.
This is it, Sam, right here. Look at this 3-wide action. Justin Smith driving up on the top. Look, they're going to lose on the bottom. Moniz loose. And
there they go. And it's going to be Matt Dyer, hard contact in the inside pit wall, as well as Noah Steele. We stay green as all that was off the racing surface, and it all accommodated to that one moment. Just everyone coming together. A lot of bobbing and weaving that just was a little bit unnecessary. We're not even halfway, and drivers wrecking just in an instant. Again, driver caught major damage goes to Matt Dyer, required damage. He's forced to go to pit road. The rest of the field, they are running this one up front, staying green.
That is major damage to Matt Dyer. Like you said, the left front suspension broken, so he's having to get that thing to pit road. Had to actually tow there, and now just getting back. And that all started, like you said, a little bit of bobbing and weaving going on as, oh man, we got some bobbing and weaving going up here now as Mark Whitley's took the lead. But it was Martin Morales that made contact there with the 5 of Daytona Moniz, and it really made everything transpire there. So that was tough to see. And like you said, early for that type of action, but drivers at sometimes can just lose that train of thought of where they're at in the middle of the race, and they just want to go for that lead.
More issues ballooning around. These drivers are struggling at this moment to keep themselves out of trouble, as a lot of incidents has been happening, as Eric Stamp was just caught up in an incident. Now Trent Jump leading ahead, and it's just a lot of our front runners that we thought maybe were going to stay up front starting to dissolve and just be thrown around, yet no yellow is being thrown, which that's another rule that was talked about by the admins. Did they want to add any more controversy? This was a talking point last season of the fact of there were so many yellows that weren't thrown, some that were thrown by the admins, and they just felt like, you know what, we're going to keep our hands off and just allow iRacing to make the decision if we're going to have a yellow flag or not. Because right there, we continue to stay green, but a lot of drivers over the radio screaming, hey, let's throw a yellow for that.
And, you know, Sam, that's always an interesting discussion that be had for admin groups. And in my opinion, you know, I feel like this is probably the smartest way to go about it if you don't have a race control in the eye in the skies. Man, Kyle Rochelle there with the push of Ryan Bird. They're flying down the back straightaway looking to take the lead. But I just think that's the best decision. No eye in the sky for them, so there's nobody to really get a good, clean look at it while all the other admins are in their trucks. It's kind of hard to see what's going on around you when you're in a truck like this to really know if a caution is warranted. So leave it up to iRacing, and you know, it's either way, somebody's going to be upset. So leave it up to a non-biased decision, I think, is the best way to go.
Well, we did initially on that restart have 24 drivers all together ready for that restart. We are now down to this lead pack, just having 10 drivers on the lead lap part of this group, and then a couple of lap down drivers mixed in between. And what a huge just moment that we got to have of 3 different incidences, no yellows thrown, and we're left with Kyle Rochelle now leading the pack, and 21 deciding to stay on the outside lane, and we're seeing a lot of just seesaw in action. Sometimes it's the inside lane with more momentum, then it's the outside for the next, and drivers trying to find the consistency. I can say, if we're looking for any consistency, it's the inside lane. Those are some consistent drivers that we have seen throughout the ISRC Truck Series careers.
They really have been, Sam. That bottom group is a good group to be with. John Forbes there, Trenton Jump, and Mark Whitley. That's a trio that you know you're in good hands for sure. And up top, though, Ryan Bird and Kyle Rochelle, they've been working excellent together, in my opinion, with even the help of GT Irizarry there. So these three have been really hooked up on this top groove, and it's kind of 6 trucks that have broken away from the trucks that are just scraggling behind them. So seeing big pushes from the first 6 trucks, while the rest of the trucks behind this looking to just ride it out.
That outside lane now going to be swapping, and Scott Rochelle drops down low. Kyle Rochelle, Ryan Bird, other leads that we've covered, they've been teammates, part of that League Apex team, and they are excited to see what momentum they can work, because that is looking like a strong pairing to watch as well. And all the drivers that are in this group, a lot of them still searching for that win here at Daytona. John Forbes, a driver that's won here in the past, and he is the only past winner that's still a part of this lead pack. And a lot of drivers knowing that 11 just knows how to get up front and get the win. But honestly, anyone has a chance in this lead group, except for maybe you'd say Ryan Bird or someone that leads the most laps just based off the statistics.
It's been against it for sure when you've done that wise, but at the same time, it's racing. Anything can happen. We could have a driver go out there, dominate, and lead the most laps, set on the pole like Ryan Bird has done, and we could see him win it, because it's definitely still possible, but just not on the most favorable of odds from the previous experiences we've had here. But this group is not giving up here. That is battling it up front. There's been switching lanes. They've been trying to find all types of runs to be able to push themselves farther up in it, and it's really led to this second group here at sometimes gaining little chunks of time up to that group. And they're really going to want to do that, because they've got about 5 seconds up to that leader, Kyle Rochelle, led by the 72 of TJ Crampton here. They really want to get themselves moving here.
Team rookies all mixed in between all these packs. TJ Crampton getting to lead the second group with Nick Crawford right on board, looking back at Ollie Fonseca, 2 drivers that were battling for the championship at the end of last season. Nick Crawford got the better hand of it. Ollie Fonseca feeling like that was a championship that was in his grasp that he lost just in those final 30 laps. And for this 24, Zach, wanting redemption after the way that his championship got kind of thrown away.
He really does. It was so tough, because Fonseca was looking so good throughout majority of that Charlotte race, but it just takes slight moments of just, you're focusing on 3 other drivers, and sometimes you get racing one, and it can put you in a terrible situation. And he's trying to do good too, because he's got the Larry R's production truck out here, and we've seen Danny Cochran, his night ended quickly. They want to put this truck in victory lane to do their sponsor proud.
Yeah, I mean, getting to have Larry as your team sponsor on these vehicles, as well as the title sponsor of the league, you're hoping to get that Larry face into victory lane. And with Danny Cochran out of this thing, it's now all in the hands of Ollie Fonseca to get Larry into victory lane. We've seen title sponsors or alliance sponsors in other leagues. Seeing those drivers and teams get into victory lane, could it happen here tonight? It's up front. It's Trenton Jump, John Forbes side by side battling for the lead position. They once were in line, now getting a little bit more scrappy as the drivers trying to stay equal footing as they exit at turn number 2.
Out of 2 they come here, Sam, and Trenton Jump, he's been a driver, in my opinion, that's just been sniffing for the lead the whole entire race. He is, and I kind of like that strategy. I feel like that actually plays out really good for drivers, was when you're always trying to go forward, never are stagnant. And I think that's the 46s came in here with that mentality, and every chance he gets to get to the lead of a line, he goes for it, and it's really worked out well, because now he's got Mark Whitley pushing him along, and it looks like he'll lead this lap this time by. But John Forbes, when we see what he's done in the openers, he's always been a strong competitor. So this front group here has got some tough ones in it.
Less than 40 laps to go here this evening, and the question now looms over. Zach, we touched on it during the stage racing. Fuel. Drivers were talking about how they couldn't make the stage on fuel. Well, now we know for sure they at least need to make 1 stop. Could a 2-stop be a strategy call, or when do you think about coming into pit road?
That's a huge question, Sam. I think that you're going to see some guys have to do the 2-stop with how fast they're having to drive, especially that second group. That second group being led by TJ Crampton, they've closed it down another second to about 4 seconds on this group up here that's battling. And when you're doing that, you're running wide open. You're trying to run these guys down, so they're probably not able to save the fuel they need. We did have some drivers top off and come down pit road, on the one to green. That's going to allow them a better chance to maybe stretch it for the one stop. But I do think we may have to see some drivers out there just a little bit short or having to save a ton on the final run of this race.
Drivers, you can see from this blunt cam, just so close on the side, drafting through turns 1 and 2, outside lane, playing a little bit too close to fire, I would say, with the way that they are racing one another, but still keeping the speed, keep the momentum. And now it's John Forbes, Ryan Bird starting to fall back as Trent Jump feels comfortable. They'll drop right in front of the 11 machine. And now it's Mark Whitley, the driver that has found himself leading the most laps here at Daytona and won the most races last season, but didn't get the championship. It is now the 77 leading the way as he is trying once again to go for a championship hunt. And Zach, I mean, for Mark Whitley, this has just been the MO of the 77 team, the 7 on screen. He has been hunting for this championship since season 1 and still has not gotten it.
It's crazy to say that because at some points it felt like he was the dominator of the seasons, and it just seems like he's never been able to close it out in that position. It was unfortunate he had to miss a race due to vacations, so it didn't allow him to move on during that, the rounds last season, so he didn't get a chance to fight for that championship. The season before that, I think, is the one that stings possibly the most, and even season 1, because both those races he had chances to win those championships and had minor mistakes, and just sometimes even just losing the lead on pit road can be the biggest difference maker. And Mark Whitley's come back with vengeance once again to try to go out there and get that elusive championship. And I'll tell you what, in my opinion, he's got to be the favorite once again. Even though Nick Crawford won it, this 77 has just been known to have unreal speed.
I mean, Trent Jump also was leading this race. Another driver to really watch out for the championship. He won the championship back in season 2. Now, that was a season where Mark Whitley wasn't there. That was also a season where John Forbes actually won the most races. So that second season had a lot of parity to show out for. But this 46 made the Final Four last season, and he's hoping to stay on that momentum. Surely he's hoping for a better run than he did at Charlotte for the championship race, but he's feeling a lot more confident because the championship race for this season, it's back at the track that he won his championship back in season 2.
That it is back to Homestead, and that'll give him some confidence. We've seen him run good there before, and anytime you can have a track that you feel confident going into, you're going to feel very good about it. And what's crazy to say right now is we've had this second group pretty much catch right up to the field. I mean, you see TJ Crampton in the 72. He was once 4 seconds back from this group. They ran them down in a blink of an eye.
And now a mixed and mingle that once was a group of just 10 lead lap drivers. Well, let's make it now 18 lead lap drivers, as well as a handful of lap cars all in the fray. And this lead pack, certainly a lot of changes is going to go on of people trying to bounce up, forward, back, and right now leading a lap for himself. It's the 14 of GT Rossari, as you're seeing the 72. No help on the outside lane.
Just no help. He drove right up there. I mean, turning the fastest lap of the race in the 72, coming up through the field with the helps of Nick Crawford and such that pushed him up there, and was really able to get the toe and pull right up to the back of this group. But everybody's dropped down low, and what that kind of tells me is we're getting close to the decision for pit stops. Right now, if you were to pit out there, you can make it on fuel to the end. So, a lot of drivers like to do that early pit stop due to the fact that if you do get a yellow, you cycle to the lead because you've already got your pit stop done and you have fuel to get to the end. So a lot of times you run these races backwards, such as you would do in a road course, because it's just not likely to go a lap down when you pit. So we could see pit road get busy very quickly here.
And driver is not taking the opening just yet to go into pit road that lap. And instead, the 72 still stuck on the outside lane, trying to find any type of opening up front. There's a little bit of jostling of drivers trying to take back the lead. That's the 46 of Trent Jump, not able to find the opening that he wants. Starting to see other drivers making their way forward. And the second truck in line, that is not a second place runner. That's the lap car of the 17 of Mason Cassidy. In his rookie debut race, Mason's been watching the ISRC for a while. Then 17, excited to be out on track, and right now trying to unlap himself the hard way. Currently on the back bumper of the 14.
Making some noise up here up front in this back, and he's also have the person he's racing for that lucky dog or to get it back the old-fashioned way is Ryan Ferraro. So Ferraro about I'd say about 10 trucks behind him in the bottom lane. So right now the 17's in a good spot. If we were to get a yellow, he would get that lap back. But at the same time, he's fighting tooth and nail just to get back to the lead, so he doesn't have to worry about that lucky dog rule.
Well, we were talking about trends for this series, and the trends have been cautions will be thrown at some point for here at Daytona. In the past, there have been races, most of the time, 6 to 7 cautions is the known amount of yellows will be thrown for race 1, 2, and 3 for those openers. Last season, though, we only had 4 cautions, but the one consistent is that we've had to go to overtime for almost every single race except for the first one. And Zach, with the way they're running right now, I wouldn't be surprised again. Field gets bigger, they start to get a little bit more racier, and the drivers put some risky moves that can put a yellow flag out there.
With 18 trucks in this lead pack and 2 also lap trucks, that's 20 trucks in this lead pack right here. I would not be surprised, Sam, if we do see that yellow come out at some point when these guys get a little bit more racy. I think everybody right now is trying to get to that last pit stop, get it done, and come out from there and then battle down to the end of this race for that lap 90 victory. So we'll see how it works out, but we've seen already a few sketchy moments with just a couple trucks fighting for lead up front. When we have all 20 fighting for that lead, it's just going to put that much more on the line.
Beep, beep, coming through. It's the 72 and the 29 on the outside of Cody Reed, who we're just riding on board with. It's 25, now heading into pit road, is aggressively making their way down to the inside. You're seeing the rest of the field fanning out behind, but watch out for the black flags because a lot of drivers were coming in very quickly.
Well, there was definitely some high speeds on that entry. If Cody Reed got it woed up, I mean, so impressed. And I mean, hey, good road course racer. He's proved that by Woodhead and Watkins Glen before, and it seems like no black flags have come through. So a great job just getting that truck woed up. And that's what I'd almost compare the entry to pit road here at Daytona is almost such as a road course corner that you have to go through the gears and brake and, you know, really trail brake to not block up or mess up, come down the pit road.
And all those drivers, some just taking 2 tires, others just taking all fuel. Interesting calls all around. A couple of drivers taking 4 tires and fuel. They have to be careful for being those, as we'll see if another pack comes in this lap. And it looks like this group deciding to maybe push it out as far as they can go on fuel. Now, these drivers can still go another 10 laps comfortably before they really need to come into pit road. And Zach, I would say that's not the worst call in the world, but you have to make sure that you keep up on that pace.
You got to really make sure you do, Sam. And, you know, the big thing also is to stay together as a group. I know a few of the drivers that hit pit road there, a few of them seem like they've lost the back end of that group. More importantly, Nick Crawford and Joshua Kanata not able to stay attached to Dakota Moniz, John Forbes, Christopher Norris, and Cody Reed. So that's going to be a huge ordeal for them as they lose numbers in trucks. And the less trucks you have, the harder it is to keep up pace with a pack like this out front. When you have more trucks, that's more energy being generated. You got to think it's every single truck out there has more energy being able to be generated from the runs that you can create with the draft. And right now, that pack that just pitted is going to be at a limited number for sure.
They've got to be careful, as they are now actually, if they can't get up to speed and run faster than our leaders, they could be in trouble of going a lap down, as our leaders are just a mere 7 seconds away from putting that group a lap down. So got to be careful of this run as we're right on board with GT Rosari, the lead driver, keeping those hands smooth. And Zach, that's something we haven't really touched on in a lot of the series in Super Speedway racing, is being a lead driver. What are you focusing on as the 14 is leading this race?
It's 2 different mentalities. When you're a lead driver, as you see right here, the 14 leading, he is trying to follow that yellow line. Look how smooth he is, the small little corrections. Because if you're moving left to right, it's much harder for that truck behind you, as you can see in his mirror, to stay glued to that back bumper. So as a driver that's leading out front, you need to stay smooth on the wheel. Stay in a straight line around here and try to scrub the speed as least as possible, and that's how you make good speed. The more you crank on that wheel, the more you turn it left, the more you cause friction with those front tires to the racetrack, which is in turn just going to slow you down. So right now, we're seeing these drivers definitely try to be as smooth as possible here and work together, because right here, leading out front, GT Rosari is holding a smooth line.
Might be wondering, why are we seeing an engine? Well, that's because Trent Jump has been shoving that Blake Kuntz, trying to get that 98 moving. Maybe get by GT Rosari, and almost a bad bump, and they got to be careful of the exit of the corner as lap cars on the inside. It's going to be the 99 of Chase Schaefer as well as Noah Steele, who are caught up in losing momentum now, causing us to go 3 wide with lap cars to the inside, lead lap cars in the middle, top, and all trying to stay together as Trent Jump looking for any type of help, and it's his teammate Logan Breakey to the outside third lane, and Malik Coates, no friends around for the 98, but the side drafting, enabling him to hold his spot.
He held on well there for having no trucks behind him with 3 trucks up top, and that could have got very, very bad there quickly. And that second group would have loved to see that, because that would have bring everybody down in front of them. They would cycle to the lead, but right now it's just going back and forth. This Logan Breakey really pushing that 98 hard here, trying to get probably hooked up with his teammates right here.
Trying to get themselves moving, and here comes another pack into pit row. That's going to be most of Driven Motorsports coming in, with being the 7 machine of Martin Whitley, also late Apex of Kyle Rochelle, Ryan Bird, all hitting their stops as that crew of drivers looks to be clear on getting any type of black flags, and we are left with 6 drivers in the lead pack, still needing to come into pit road, and the lap cars, Zach, causing a little bit of friction of the drivers up front, it looks like.
It definitely looks to be that way. A little bit of friction being made by those drivers, and that's going to happen here when you have lap trucks right in the mix of it. I mean, you got Noah Steele, you got Mason Cassidy, of course, up there, and just multiple of them trying to battle their way back to that lead lap. And right now, they're trying to do the best possible. But the thing is, the lap times that they're producing compared to that second pack, not on point. Right now, they're about a half a second slower per lap from that first pack that pitted, and the pack I can confirm that just came out of pit road now. They're getting past as they're coming out of exit of pit road onto the back straightaway by that second pack. I don't know if they'll be able to hang on to them.
No, they are going way too slow currently. The difference over 30 to 20 miles per hour difference. They have lost that first initial pack that came into pit road. Cody Reed, John Forbes, teammates that have joined up with Christopher Norris as well as Nick Crawford. Crawford somehow able to catch back up with this group, and this second pack, the way that they're running, they look dangerously quick. But a new thing that we haven't really touched on is the fact of tires. How much is the tire factor going to be a factor here, Zach? Because looking at the telemetries of when drivers came to pit road, some decided to just go with fuel only, others deciding 2 tires, some decided to take 4 tires. What tire compounds, or how much tires should you take, or will you even take any if you're this lead group?
The major decision in those factors is how much fuel you have to put in the trucks. If you have to put a limited amount of fuel, which the majority of them did, they're going to elect most likely to either take none or 2. And I think that's why you're seeing a little bit of switcheroo between a lot of those drivers on what they elected to do, because you could say you want this stability, so you go out there and throw on the 4 tires, but at the same time you lose so much time in pit road that you have to gain back that it's tough to do. So we'll see the drivers that took those 4 tires if they're able to remount themselves, but I think 2 tires would probably be the call to go. It can change the balance of the truck. When you put those tires on, the offset of the wear from left to right can have different effects. You put left side tires on, it usually helps you turn a little better. You put right side tires on, it actually helps you turn a little too much. So it is an interesting predicament to be in as a driver, and you're just picking and choosing what side of the truck you want to make better. And it seems like a few of them elected to go that 2-tire way. And it looks like this group here, Sam, they were able to latch on pretty well there in the 4 and the 77 and the 49. So we're going to have a battle here with that second group.
The second group now going to be 3 wide, watching out as they're on lap 69 for these drivers. Not a nice moment for themselves to get caught up in a wreck as they come across the groove. It is that initial group of Mark Whitley and that of Andrew Hess. Going to be seeing that, of Austin Halsey and others trying their best to get through this group. But what once was a group that was really catching up to our lead pack, or at least gaining time that should take the lead lap. Lead pack in the lead positions. Now so mixy, I don't even know what speeds they're going to have until they cross the line, because this is looking dangerous for the second group.
This is definitely, Sam, this is where we can see our incident in that group out front lead. We could be just hanging out chilling while this is all going on. The lap times, I'm sure, are going to be dropping from this group just due to the factors of the racing that's going on. So right now, they know this could be the race for the win when it all cycles through. And I think that's why the aggression level has picked up so much in this group.
Across the line, going to be seeing what their lap times are, and that's almost a full second off. And now the lead pack going to be heading into pit road as lap 71 coming to that of 20 laps to go. The final cluster of drivers make their pit stop, hit the mark, and trend jump for the second time tonight. Caught speeding on entry.
Yeah, I just watched that, Sam, just live myself, and I kind of just sitting there going, man, you would think Trenton Jump, a champion like that and a race winner, would have learned from that situation from before. Just tried to get way too much coming to pit road. I mean, he's even the lead truck. He doesn't have to be, yards out ahead of anybody to make it happen, and that's just going to take any chance of his chances away of winning this race, and it hurts even his teammate Logan Breakey's chances because now he loses a teammate up front.
Eric Stamp also trying to get himself moving. Willie Kuntz struggle on trying to get in his box and out of his box for the lead pack. A little bit of wiggling action. That's going to be Mark Whitley trying to hold steady as up front. It is going to be the 6, Justin Smith. Austin Halsey now going to be taking that lead position as the 6 was stuck on the apron. Getting his motor running, and now it's the 4, the 21, the 77, and the 72 all in line. 20 coming to 19 laps to go, and it's coming down to the last bit here, Zach, and we are going to take our final commercial break of the evening. When we come back, we will take you to the end as the driver's starting to ramp up. Get ready. It's the Put It Out 250 presented by Hot Threads here this evening for the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series. Season 5, what a race it's been. Could it be someone new winning this evening? We'll find out right after this. Rama striking as lap traffic gets in front of the leaders, and it causes our second caution of the night as some of our heavy favorites caught up in this one. Kyle Rochelle, Mark Whitley, all caught up with required damage. as we bring up the instant replay on what brought out this yellow. You got to see it in the mini screen of the lead pack drivers trying to get by Trenton Jump. And Zach, what a wild situation. We knew it was going to happen at some point, but it was Trenton Jump just getting a little bit maybe too greedy as a lap car driver.
Yeah, it possibly was, Sam. We'll have to see here on this instant replay exactly, maybe a little bit better shot of it, but it does seem that way. A little bit of aggression there from the lap truck of Trenton Jump, who's trying to stay in that pack. He wants a shot, to stay with them so he doesn't lose the draft and go way, way back. So it's a situation where, you're a lap truck. You want to try to give room, but you also don't want to give up your race. So it's a tough one to play, and I think we'll see here that it just was a little bit maybe of a mislapse of judgment to try to cover off the middle lane when all the drivers were trying to squeeze by, and it just really ended up causing a major incident here. Like you said, that has put Kyle Rochelle and Mark Whitley with required damage, and that is like a terrible situation for them. And now we'll get to see here with this replay, Trenton Jump, that blue car on the bottom lane. You'll see there he's kind of drifting up off the yellow line a little bit. They're trying to squeeze to them through the middle there to continue the run they had, but the hole just closed up there, and the contact sends Mark Whitley head first up into the wall. And then you're going to see Kyle Rochelle. He's going to get clipped here next, and that's going to cause him some damage, and it's going to bring the 21 and that 77 Sam required damage for both those trucks.
And there's another hard contact as well. Going to be Cody Reed trying to get through the mess and just not able to. And it's just one of those incidences. Again, if everyone was expecting to see that of the 46 to just hold the yellow line as a lap car. He was off the pace because he was caught speeding, which he was left on his own, about a 15, 20 miles per hour difference. And when you come up with that, closing rate, you're going to make contact with drivers, and brings out the first big incident. You can see a little bit of the damage model as a rear end of Mark Whitley goes sliding through the grass. The rest of the field still trying to scatter their way through, and that's going to bring out our second caution of the day with 15 laps to go. These drivers up front recognizing this race might not be done with yellows, as up front it's going to be Dakota Moniz, Ryan Bird, Ollie Fonseca, as well as Austin Halsey. The 5 drivers deciding not to come into pit road. GT Rosari, who pitted right when the yellow flag was about to come out. The 14 also staying out for track position in 5th position.
That worked out very well for him in that 14 machine, as we're having a few drivers look to come down, maybe get those trucks worked on down here, but we're going to get them double file back up, and we're going to see how these final 14 laps coming to 13 laps play out. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if we're done with the yellow flags. I think we might see a little bit more aggression playing out here on these next few restarts, and these drivers may get a little bit more wild than what we've seen so far. But it's any driver's game right now that's on the lead lap. Anything can happen. We've seen drivers come from so far back at some of these play tracks in the final lap to come and get a victory. So even though you're sitting back there 13th, 14th, some of the last cars on the lead lap, you still got a shot at this victory, and this could mark your way to those playoffs. And even drivers like Dakota Moniz, Ryan Bird up here, Austin Halsey, 3 of those drivers in the top 4 never have won a race here at ISRC. We could very well see a first-time winner here tonight.
We very much could. And looking back at the past, was trying to see some other, fun facts so you could bring up on drivers that have led laps coming to the white flag. Drivers, so we're finding out, pole sitters, drivers that led the most laps have not won this race. If you have that title of a pole or leading the most laps, another one that's kind of interesting, the only driver that has been able to lead coming to the white flag and then win the race, Danny Cochran, back in season 1. All the other races has not been done. They found themselves leading, coming to the white flag, and then not being able to finish out at the end. So all these drivers also recognize last lap, you may not want to be the leader, or at least you're hoping everyone wrecks behind you, or you got a good person behind that's willing to work and push you to victory. As these drivers recognize, this is go time, crunch time. We could be seeing more messes and scraps metal flying because we've got 13 laps to go at the Put It Out 250 presented by Hot Threads. Pace cars into pit road, into the Geico restart zone, and the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series is back underway.
Good start from the inside lane, and Ryan Bird was also on the outside lane to almost stay dead even with the 5 of Dakota Moniz, and now get a little bit of a side draft heading into one that's going to get the outside lane the momentum, but the inside lane a little bit more stacked up here and more organized as Fonseca is able to get to the 5's back bumper and able to help his teammate launch through turns 1 and 2.
Trying to get some help, a little bit of tight squeeze as drivers exit the corner, exited 2, exited 4. Been seeing a lot of drivers on the outside, inside lane, almost making contact constantly. The more that they get intense, maybe the hands start getting a little bit more nervous when you're turning the wheel, maybe turning a little bit too much. We could see some contact with the exit of these corners. The drivers are not wanting to grab, but our top 4, Dakota Moniz, Oli Fonseca, GT Rosari, and last season's champion and Nick Crawford trying to woo this inside lane, but here comes GT Rosari and Ryan Bird coming to the point.
Great job there jumping out in front of that 49 was the 14 Irizarry, and he's now going to have a huge ton of steam here heading down into 1. Is able to clear that inside lane, but stays up top with the 49 for the moment being as they'll come out of 2 with another good head of steam. These two out on this outside line may be able to pull down low here. We'll see what they elect to do down the back straightaways. Again, that outside line just gaining momentum.
And out of nowhere, Armadillo Racing is coming with a head of steam, being led on the 4th driver on the outside. 1 lap down is Trent Jump, trying to bounce into the 3rd lane, trying to unlap himself if possible. Then he's got his teammates at Noah Steele, Logan Brakey, trying to figure out how do they keep the momentum as 3 wide as possible. But you feel a lot more comfortable when you're 2 wide as Trent Jump, forcing it 3 wide back for 5th place. As the 46 once again is 1 lap down, forcing the issue here as they get a little bit wiggly from Ryan Bird.
Oh man, the bumps are happening right now and everybody's starting to scatter as it's 3 wide, still going through turn 2. Halsey in the middle, Crawford on the bottom, Trenton Jump up top, and Jump is trying to make this a little bit chaotic. He wants a yellow flag. He wants to get back on that lead lap to have a chance to go win this thing.
But if he's going to be causing a yellow, he has to make sure he's not involved in the wreck. Cannot get an incident point if a yellow flag comes out. He is set to get the Lucky Dog position. Other driver he's battling is actually going to be the 99, and here comes Chase Schaefer, who now takes the Lucky Dog spot for the 99 for the 46. We got lead lap drivers running for the lead with GT Rosari and Dakota Moniz, and as well, lap cars battling for the Lucky Dog spot with 10 laps to go here at Daytona.
And Noah's still right in the mix with them too, so that's 3 cars battling for a Lucky Dog position. So it's going to mix things up, and the contact is almost made there. Is this 3 by 3 by 3, and it's stacking up here. How long will they be able to make this last as they come off of 2? It's going to be Moniz still holding the lead on the bottom.
You got allies, you got rivals, alliances all around, and they're stuck 3 by 3. But almost 4 to 3 rows deep, almost 4 wide now. Battling this, it's going to be GT Rosari stuck in the middle and sent backwards as it's now going to be Austin Halsey, Dakota Moniz, side by side, 9 laps to go when they cross the line. Zach, I don't know how they survived. 4 wide should not work here at Daytona.
4 wide works at Talladega. It's no bueno when it comes to Daytona. That is not a good thing to see. And they kept it together somehow. It was some contact, but everybody held on, and that was the key moment right here as we continue with 9 to go. It's just 9 to go right now. That's the thing to think about, is how much aggression's already be thrown out here with 9 to go. When they get down to 3 to go, it's going to be every man for themselves.
The 99, Jay Schaefer, a driver that now bounces the outside lane, trying to unlap himself the hard way, and he has done so. The 99 having the nose ahead. Technically, he is now the first car on the lead lap, and now would get the Lucky Dog spot to Noah Steele, but they continue to stay side by side. This is hurting GT Rosari, because for Austin Halsey, he's right now side by side with a lap car. No one really to worry about, as now they're going to bounce it to 3 wide. Noah Steele going to be forcing that 3rd lane.
These lap trucks are not giving up one bit at all. They want to be in the fight, and they know they need something crazy to happen here. They need to be out in front of either the leader or to have a wreck happen and then be the first one. As now it's going to be Trent Jump thrusted into that Lucky Dog position, as it's going to be the drivers on the bottom trying to fight back in the 4 machine Austin Halsey to get these trucks back a lap down. But again, Trent Jump jumping up to the 3rd lane. They are continuing to bounce up there,
trying to make this 3rd lane work, and there hasn't been a big enough wreck to scare them off just yet, as Trent Jump, with all the penalties, all the woes, trying to get himself back on the lead lap for a chance to win here at Daytona. Get yourself an opener winner. We've had a couple throughout the seasons that have been incredible to see, but at this moment, Austin Halsey, last season suspended a couple of times for reckless driving, and some wrecks where he should have held the brake but caught up other drivers. Now the 4 searching for his first win. It's been a part-time driver since season 1. Now with 7 laps to go, he's got Dakota Moniz trying to give him the push to win.
What a story that would be if Austin Halsey went out here and won. I mean, we talked about him needing to hold the brake a few times. He doesn't need to hold the brake here. He needs to be wide open because that middle lane is looking strong. GT Irizarry, it looks like, was able to push that 99 ahead and is still 3 abreast here heading through 3 and 4. How long will this last here, Sam?
And it's the 99 stuck in the middle, 3 wide, 3 rows deep, almost 4 now as everyone's trying to hold steady. 6 laps to go here for the Put It Out 250 presented by Hot Threads. And it has been just intense mounting up. And at this current moment, it's the outside lane. It's the 6, Justin Smith, leading the way for the 6 machine. A driver that wanted to make the playoffs missed out on an opportunity, now leading the Daytona 250 for himself. Could the 6 machine get it done? As now more lap cars on the outside lane getting the momentum to try to push themselves forward.
Wow, this is getting down to be a little bit wild. We're going to 5 laps to go, and Nick Crawford up top in the 74 leading the way with Malik Kuntz in that 3rd lane, but it's Justin Smith the leader at the moment, is because we have 2 lap cars trying to will themselves onto the lead lap, as they've both done it so far now, and that is what Noah Still would like to see, because he'd be the only truck a lap down right now to get that lucky dog.
Trying their best to stay ahead of the leader of the 6 machine, as it is getting a lot more wiggly in the middle. You can see the 8 of Noah Steele trying to find an opening, trying to be the same as a fillet knife that we just saw the 46 speed to carve his way up to that 2nd position on the outside lane. Hasn't been able to do so as Noah Steele, but instead we look at all the newcomers that are now up front. Ryan Bird, debut race, hoping to get himself into victory lane. We got a lot of first-time winners hoping for the best as Trent Jump wrecks this 99 in front of the field, and it all goes bad as Trent Jump causing another caution.
Oh man, and that contact there, that's not well. Actually, he'll be ahead of the leader, so it doesn't matter for a lucky dog for him. So that was a huge moment for Jim and Trent Jump to get back on the lead lap, and him and Chase Schaefer were going at it there in 3 and 4. Sam, I understand you're trying to hold on to the lead lap there, but I guess throwing blocks when you're out front a lap down, I don't know if that's going to work out too well, and it just did not work out well for the rest of the field who were caught up in their mess.
And Joshua Freed, over 30 seconds back from the leaders, 1 lap down, well, put the 39 back on the lead lap for himself with that caution flag being thrown. And we talked about how Ethan Smith, no longer part of the league, he was removed, kind of the villain, you could say, these last couple of seasons. Well, I think we might have found our new villain of the league, Trent Jump, causing some reckless moves as a lap car and goes high, low, lap traffic trying to block as the 99 moving up, and just a late move. And Trent Jump says, I'm not going to follow you, comes back down, bad bump on the quarter panel, and sends the 99 around.
That is tough to see right there, Sam, especially 2 lap trucks battling like that. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get back on the lead lap. They're trying to hope for something to happen behind them, but racing that hard for a lucky dog or just a lead lap position, I don't think that's going to sit well with a lot of drivers when it comes to the respect level, when it comes to racing for sure. But hey, at the end of the day, for Trenton Jump, he's back on the lead lap and he's got a shot to go win this thing. And with the moves he's been making, I wouldn't be surprised to see him right back up near the lead.
Oh, I wouldn't either, as Ryan Ferraro going to be driver with required damages. Look on board and just see all the drivers trying their best and just nowhere to go for Dakota, as we were right on board with the 5 machine there. And it looked like maybe he was able to keep it straight and out of damage, but that is still some hard contacts around the vehicle that you're trying not to, add any more damage to a very aerodynamic vehicle out there on track. But Zach, once again, this could be putting us in overtime, and this has happened for almost every race that we've covered for the debut Daytona race for the seasons, is that we find ourselves heading to overtime.
It seems to be a trend that always keeps on giving to us for sure. And I tell you what, the runs you can formulate here, when we get the restart going, that's when the runs are going to be kind of even at their biggest. If you can get lined up and really stacked up and create a lot of momentum, you're going to see big runs generated in drivers. We've seen 4 wide. I wouldn't put it out of the realm of seeing that happen again, because it seems like everybody's willing to make those desperate moves here late to try to go win this thing.
Well, we haven't been able to talk to any of the drivers. The timing just hasn't lined up for it. But I say right now might be the best time to do so. Driver we haven't talked to even last season or the season before that, in that a second position, Justin Smith. I'm curious on what the mindset is for the 6. He's been up here running aggressively, but can he hold on? Let's queue up the 6 machine. The 6 of Justin Smith. It's Sam and Zach up at the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Justin, you've been in the heart of all of that drama that just went down. Man, how are you feeling out there?
Well, I got pretty competitive when I took it 3 wide on the outside. Trenton jumped, being a lap down. I appreciate his push, got me to the lead, and then we had 2 lap cars get into it with each other, and I got a little bit of a nose on the driver's door of the 98 or 99, I believe. But from there, man, I'm in the catbird seat right now, being second. I'm just going to take it for what it is.
That you really are, Justin. You're definitely in the catbird seat, my friend. I mean, how do you feel restarting here on this bottom lane? It looks like the 14's elected to go up top. What lane do you think you need to be in to win this thing?
I'll take either one. I haven't really seen any difference in the outside or the inside. Inside definitely has a better run off the corner. So let's just try to keep it side by side with them going into 1.
Well, Justin, we're excited to see how this race is going to go. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you at the end of the night, and good luck on our first attempt at overtime.
Thank you, sir.
As that is the 6th machine from 9 Dime Motorsports, also teammates with Cody Smith and also Malik Kuntz and Tyler Horn, who we are expecting to see a couple of those drivers next week, which I cannot wait for this upcoming season, Zach. A lot of exciting racing action, as next week we head to Las Vegas. What drama we've seen there. Auto Club and then Canadian Tire are going to be our first road course of the season. That's what's to come on Monday night. But for tonight, we are officially in overtime. Our first attempt of 3 if needed. The ruling is, once we go green, it's 2 laps. If we get the white flag, 1 to go marker, this race becomes official. It's all about taking it to the end. But if we get a yellow flag on this first initial lap that we go green, we'll rack it all up and go for attempt number 2. Attempt number 3 has got a little bit different rules. So if we get there, we'll let you know. But the ultimate goal, get the white flag. This race is official, and it's all about crossing the line first. Leading up front, it's GT Rosario on the outside, Justin Smith in second, Ryan Bird in third, fourth is Austin Halsey, Nick Crawford, Dakota Moniz, Oli Fonseca, Malik Coates, that of TJ Crampton, as well as Christopher Norris, going to be your top 10. They have to wait until they're in the restart zone. New rules for these drivers. You cannot attack on the gas pedal right when the pace car pulls off. You have to wait to get into the Geico restart zone before we can go. The 14 drivers, the one we're looking out for. First attempt at overtime. The Put It Out 250 presented by Hot Threads is back to green flag racing, and it's GT Rosario with a great launch.
Great launch from him, but the thing he doesn't like to see right here is the 49 Ryan Bird didn't get a great launch, but Rosario was able to clear the 6 and jump down, so it wasn't the worst. Now he jumps back up to the high side because the momentum's coming from the top. Oh man, they're all over the place now. This may get a little bit wrecky.
Aggressive blocking, high, low. We already saw a wreck happen because so. And now we are coming off of turn number 2. GT Rosario, which lane will he block? He goes high, trying to work with Ryan Bird. He'll then move back down low to the inside, and Austin Halsey going to be pushing the inside lane, and they're spinning behind. We're going to overtime attempt number 2. Oli Fonseca and others trying to survive to not grab any more damage, and Trent Jump gets through the grass and will mow his way through and keep that truck moving forward.
And that right there, folks, is the good old fashion accordion effect. As super speedway racing, sometimes lanes just clog up with bumps and just drivers not being able to go forward. And we see an incident like that happen where everybody's stacked up in the middle, Sam. And I tell you what, this only builds the tension more. I mean, we just seen how aggressive Rosario was from the lead position. I think we may be going the full extended overtime here, possibly.
I mean, GT Rosario, if you've been watching the ISRC Truck Series since back in season 2-1, we've seen the 14 be blocked and willing to block. Back in season 1 and 2, they were known as the NAISCC Truck Series, and GT found himself getting pushed around a lot of the times blocking, and now he learns how to block and defend perfectly so far here tonight. But Zach, here's that accordion effect you were talking about.
Yeah, big accordion effect here. So you see that outside line stacks up, and then you're going to see the 5 Dakota Moniz, that 4th truck on that outside line. Look how much it slows his truck up when everybody gets stacked up there. That's going to push Fonseca back into the middle of this pack here, and there's a truck in the middle lane there, and just the checkup was nobody was able to react fast enough. And from there, you can see parts and pieces flying. That's the beauty of the new damage model. We're getting to see a lot of those bumper covers and front ends fly off here this season, but tough break there for a group of these drivers. TJ Crampton there was that truck in the middle lane that gave that contact to the 24.
Everyone's slowing down, a few just motoring their way through, as you see the 99 with Schaefer just trying to get through the mess as quickly as possible. But that is going to be putting us in our second attempt at overtime. A few drivers coming into pit road to get repairs done up front. Still going to be GT Rosario, Ryan Bird, Austin Halsey, Nick Crawford, Justin Smith, Malik Kuntz, Dakota Moniz, and Christopher Norris going to be up front. And Zach, when we run down that list of drivers that are in our top 8, a few of them have found themselves in a victory lane in the past. Some still searching for that coveted first win in this truck series. I mean, tonight seems to be a night where we might see a first-time winner with some of the blocks that we're seeing, and drivers really have no give right now.
There is definitely no give, Sam. That is for sure. And I you know, the odds are high in the new winner category. I mean, you got Ryan Bird there, Austin Halsey, Justin Smith, Malik Kuntz there, Mark Morales back in 10th. I mean, there's good chances here in this top 10 that we could see someone, you know, go get that first time victory, or do we see one of the drivers from the past finish it out here? I mean, it's really anybody's game, because again, if we get to that white flag, that's the big thing in my books. If we can get to the white flag, coming down the back straightaway for the last time, everything's going to break loose, and pretty much from there, it's just going to be a melee just to get back to the finish line first. We could very well see one of those incidents that the 13th or 14th, 15th place truck is the one that gets back to the line first, just due to the incident that happens. Because once that white flag waves out there, folks, it is pretty much no cautions from that point. They race back to the line. There could be a wreck directly after that white flag is thrown, and it would not matter. You have to race back to that line, and that's when things get very, very wild.
And with some of the blocks that we're seeing right now, and just the aggression and kind of the no respect being shown in some fashions, some drivers, some of the moves that they're putting. But Zach, I got a feeling if you're leading this race, you're not going to win it based off of some of the moves that we've been seeing here this evening, which is going to put a lot of stress on GT Rosario, Ryan Bird, if they are the lead driver coming to that white flag.
It really will. You know, the blocks we've already seen here is already throw. I think Ryan Bird will be just as aggressive. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. I don't really know what to expect. All I know is there's going to be trucks going left to right to cover every bit of ground out there on the racetrack. And we could see a pretty ugly finish, or we could see a pretty wild one. I mean, we look back to last season. I mean, you know, someone utilized that you know, on the yellow line rule, where you can go below the yellow line as long as you don't come up the racetrack and wreck nobody. You can go below there. So I wonder who's been studying up on that rule book and trying to plan and strategize out what maneuver they're going to pull off, because John Forbes, he had that all planned out when he came to the finish line last season and got that victory. And I mean, Forbes back there in 11th position, or starting the 12th position, he very well could be right back into to try that move once again.
Not out of it just yet, but you might need some help if you're going to get yourself in victory lane here this evening. Again, this is our second attempt at overtime, same as the first. We will go back to green flag racing. It'll be a 2-lap shootout. If we get a yellow flag on this first initial flag, we will then go into overtime attempt number 3. But if we stay green, we get the white flag. This race will become official, and it's all about who crosses the line first. All the drivers up front want to see that white flag so they can race for a win. Drivers deeper in the field might hope for the drivers up front to get caught up in a mess and they can escape their way through to give themselves a better opportunity in a third attempt at overtime. But this is our second try. Who is going to win the Put It Out 250 presented by Hot Threads? It is going to be up front GT Rosario, He put on the blocks. He put on the moves. Can he do it once again? This time restarting on the inside lane. Hoping to work with Austin Halsey and have the run that he is hoping for. Thank you so much to everyone who's been watching tonight's race for the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series. It's the first race of Season 5, and it certainly has had some drama. It's had some flair, and it's time for us to get back to green flag racing. Overtime attempt number 2 is underway.
Here we go, folks. It's the 14 years already with a great start on that bottom lane, but he's going to look to jump up top once again, but he does it a little bit maybe too late. Bird's going to be right to the back bumper, and somehow ISRC covers it off. But look at Nick Crawford with the amazing move there to get down behind that Ford machine. Now the inside lane has the run as they're squirrely from a couple cars back.
Nick Crawford hoping to get a better run for himself. All takes to the corner. Going to give a massive push to the 4 machine. Ryan Bird trying to find any way to get by the 14, but not able to do so. Instead, going to have to give a bumper. Still side by side as they go into 3, but they're wrecking behind. Will the yellow flag come out? And it does as the field scatters on the entry turn 3, and it's only going to be our top 8 that make it through.
And I could have seen that coming from a mile. We had a 4-wide maneuver go a little bit awry there as I think just drivers really, scattering all over the place down the back straightaway, and the one of Morales, the 5 of the Tacoma knees involved in that, and just a tough break. But the driver wins out the most in that was Trenton Jump, the driver making the 4-wide maneuver to get to the top.
I mean, Trenton Jump has just he's racing it like it's a sim race. There is no worry about damaging this vehicle. It is send full bore as you see the field here. 4 wide, little bad bumps, contact, and it's just at that moment you're scattering. There's nowhere to go, and the field is trying their best not to get involved. But Dakota, just a passenger of watching the madness happen around him, is that outside lane really just nowhere to go.
Just the runs you get are just so massive. And I mean, the 46 had such a big run that he said, I'm sticking it against the wall and I'm just not lifting. And I think the one of Morales saw it in his mirror and he goes, I don't know if I don't want to cover this off because if I don't move low, I'm going to probably get ran over here. So he reacts to that. And then from there, it comes down into the truck, into his inside of him, and just shows you again, 4 wide at Daytona. You can make it happen for a little bit, but usually at some point it all comes to a head and you get those incidents like that down the back straightaway. So tough ordeal, but man, we'll, like I said, I felt like we were going to full overtime and it seems to be that way.
Well, with overtime attempt number 3, the ruling is a little bit different from our first 2 attempts. This is our final attempt at a restart. And for these drivers, if we do not get to the white flag, and we get a caution on that first flag, on the first lap that we go into, that race will become official and will be based off your positioning once the yellow flag is thrown. So drivers up front, they're going to be more reckless than ever, recognizing they have to get by GT Rosario and be that lead lap driver, because if a caution flag comes out and the 14's ahead, they'll win tonight's race.
You're exactly right, Sam. If that yellow flag flies, the field is frozen, and whoever's out front at that point, that's where you finish. So, personally, with the way the last 2 restarts have played out, that's a very high possibility that yellow flag comes out. I just the maneuver some of these guys are making, just not being very patient. I understand it's hard when it's clogged up. You got a traffic jam in front of you. You're just trying to find any little way past. But sometimes you just got to outweigh those options and say, okay, I'm going to have to wait and settle, because sometimes it's just not your race to win. But, when it's plate racing like this, everybody feels like they can go out there and just do whatever move is necessary to get the job done. And, you might not make the most friends that way, but it may pay out for you in the end. You never know.
Well, there's one driver that has found his way getting a championship. Let's see if he can get himself into victory lane, as let's try to queue up the 74, 4th place runner currently. That's going to be Nick Crawford. Let's see if we can queue that of the 74 up. Nick, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. You got us?
Hi, guys. I apologize in advance if you hear a dog barking.
It's all right, Nick. You are the Season 4 champion. You're running in 4th currently. Man, how are you feeling knowing that we're in our final attempt at this overtime?
I'm just hoping it goes green. At least make it to the white flag, because there's no way it's going to be a pass for the lead on not the white flag. But yeah, I'm hoping it goes green, but I'm pretty calm right now. We already did as much as we could last season, and everything this season is really just for the team. So I'm good with whatever happens.
Well, it looks like, Nick, you're going to be starting in that outside lane. Do you like your chances there? We seen you do the big maneuver there on that last restart to jump down low. What do you feel like is going to be the winning maneuver here to get this victory?
Somehow getting around a block from GT, that's where it's going to be.
It's all right, Nick. We love the dogs. We hope that the dogs are cheering for you on this go, but we'll send you back to your team, and good luck on this restart.
Oh, they're cheering all right. Thank you, guys.
Well, that is going to be your Season 4 champion, Nick Crawford. The dogs got a little bit more rowdy than he wanted there, Zach, so he wasn't able to finish on your question, but certainly I would say that 74, it seemed a little bit more calmer than I was expecting him to be.
Yeah, definitely. I think, that weight lifted off your shoulders when you become a champion, I think it's a real thing that when you win that championship, you kind of come back. It either can kind of be a downfall of you saying, well, I got to go back and repeat, or you have that feeling of just relief that, hey, man, I got it done. I've already won this thing. I'm just going to go out here and just race. And I feel like that's a scary situation for the rest of this field to see the 74 in. I mean, if he can go out there, be confident like that, and not have too many nerves and just, it is what it is type of situation, I think he'll put himself in for another classic Nick Crawford season. So we'll see how that works out for him. I like how he was sounding there. Definitely like the fact that the dogs are cheering him on. Any type of motivation here at Play Tracks could be a lot of a factor for sure. Just going out there to make the confident move, and that's what it's going to take. Confidence is what it is when it comes to making moves here. You got to be confident in the move you make, because it could be the wrong one, and that's the one that could send you backwards.
Who is winning the Season 5 Race 1 of the Put It Out 250 presented by Hot Threads? It's time to find out. This is the last and final restart of the night. If a caution flag comes out, that will be the end of the race. The drivers are hoping for the white flag so this race becomes official. Up front, GT Rosari, Austin Halsey, Nick Crawford, Ryan Bird, your top 4. Pace car is off into the restart zone. And here we go. Season 5 has begun, and it's time to crown our first winner of the season.
Let's see who can get it done. Great start from the top side. Can Nick Crawford stay hooked up with the 14, or will the 14 jump back low? We've seen him do the switcheroo multiple times so far, but it looks like the outside line not getting going. Looks like that bottom lane with Austin Halsey and Brian Bird much quicker here through 1 and 2, Sam.
Working as 1 and the 4 going to be up front. The 4 hoping to get some type of win. Bouncing to the 3rd lane already is going to be Trenton Jump. Wants the win badly. The rest of the field, can they stay stable, and can we get to the white flag? That is what everyone wants to see. Or will this race finish under yellow? It's going to be up front. Austin Halsey, Ryan Bird looking confident with Justin Smith. 3 wide back for 4th place. 3 wide for 8th as they're stacking up. It's all the 4 up front as they come out of turn number 4 looking for the white flag, and it is going to be our white flag. It's the lap white flag out in the air. Austin Halsey, the sitting duck. It's time to crown a first winner.
Who is going to pick the chance to go first? Ryan Bird is hooked up to this 4 for the whole majority of this takeoff from this restart. When does he make his move? Down the back straightaway, I think it's going to be the timing, and right now they're coming strong from that 3rd position on back.
Christopher Norris, where did he come? He's up into 3rd place. He's got the momentum, bouncing the outside. The 6 trying to give the run to the 38. Christopher Norris, who won back at the Atlanta race, now trying to pick a nose to the inside is going to be the 4. Middle is going to be that of Christopher Norris. GT Rosario looking for some help. Norris has got the front bumper. Contact wiggling. The 4 trying to come forward. Contact scattering. It's Christopher Norris, Austin Halsey, side by side. The 38 has the nose, and Christopher Norris wins the Put It Out 250 presented by Hot Threads. Christopher Norris wins for a 2nd time in his career.
Wow, what a job by Christopher Norris. Where did he come from there in the final moments of that race? I think he was 5th, he was 8th on 2 to go and was 5th with the white flag. So great job, just continuing to move forward. And that 38 starting out where he ended his season, really strong wise, being in that final 4 where nobody expected him to get, now in victory lane here at Daytona.
Made the final 4 in what a historic run that he had last season. And now with this win, Christopher Norris has got himself his first win of the season and booking a ticket to the playoffs for another chance to battle for a championship. Congratulations to the 38. Austin Halsey would have run for himself. John Forbes out of nowhere as well, with all the scattering of the pack behind the 38 and the 4. Man, Zach, what a crazy finish it was, as everyone gives the congratulational bumps to the 38 machine. He's getting ready to burn it down, and Hey, the fun's not done just yet. We still have the post-race show. We'll talk to our top three: Christopher Norris, Austin Halsey, John Forbes, and a spotlight driver after this. As, oh man, Zach, I mean, I know for Norris, this is something he has wanted so badly after that Atlanta win. Wants to get another one for the 38.
He definitely wanted it, Sam, and it's came out here and got it done. And like you said, it takes the worries of playoffs for him. He knows he has a chance to go back and see if he can make that Final Four. And what a way to start off this season after the great momentum he had at the end of last. So burn it down, Christopher Norris. And like you said, we'll talk to those other drivers.
As we step aside, we'll be back for the post-race show. Enjoy Christopher Norris burning it down here at Daytona. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show of the Season 5 Race 1 for the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series. The Put It Out 250 presented by Hot Threads had an incredible 3 attempts at overtime, and we got a driver getting his second ever career win, another first-time Daytona winner. It is Christopher Norris getting it done for the 38 machine. Christopher, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. Congratulations. You are now a 2-time winner in the ISRC Truck Series and now have your first win in Season 5. How are you feeling after that one?
It's static, man. I mean, I think I yelled so loud, my neighbors are up and my throat hurts.
Definitely could hear the excitement there, Christopher, man. Congrats on the victory. I mean, I think the big story is you ended out last season so strong. How's it feel to continue that momentum over here to Daytona and also know the fact that now you're locked into the playoffs? Because last season we know it was close for you to not even make the playoffs.
It's amazing, man. I mean, it's been probably the first season I don't have to worry about points. The last 3, at least, well, 4 now. Sorry, forgetting my numbers. I believe 2, 3, and 4, all based off a few points, and just glad to finally get it done, and just hope to keep the momentum up.
Well, I mean, let's talk about this race, Norris. On that restart, you started back in 8th place. On the restart, you had to make your way forward. At one moment, we blinked and you were up to 3rd. What was the move, and how are you feeling with your move to get up to that position to win tonight?
Yeah, man, I knew once we got that yellow to bring out the first green white checkered, it had to do everything I can to stay out of trouble, but keep that nose clean. With the last green white checkered, there was a gap. Well, the 2 lines fell back, so I knew I had my teammate Nick behind me, my dad, and he was able to just kind of help focus me forward. Justin Smith, I believe it is, went up just a little bit, so it left me a gap to go to the bottom, and I was just like, screw it, send it. So Nick followed me through, and that was on the white flag. So it was the right move, right call, and just ended up right, being able to clear up middle, and got it done.
I mean, Norris, congratulations once again on this win. I know you want to go celebrate and have fun, but before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
Well, of course, I need to give out the biggest shout out to Justin Smith. Amazing push by him out of the back stretch into turn 3 and 4. Unfortunate to see that he fell back a few spots. And then, of course, the teammates. We pick up some new teammates this season. So new teammates will be Cody Reed and John Forbes. Glad to have them on board. And then, of course, 3 seasons now, Nick Coffin. And also the sponsor of the truck, Lids. Check out customlids.com. And then also you guys, of course, for the great show and the admins for putting this on.
That is going to be the 38 of Christopher Norris. Congratulations on winning tonight's race, and hopefully you can carry on this momentum moving forward into the next couple of races. Congratulations, and enjoy this one.
Thank you.
As we go from victory lane, let's go to 2nd place because the highs might just continue on from here. We got the 4 of Austin Halsey coming away in 2nd place. Austin, you come away with your best career finish in the ISRC Truck Series. Man, how are you feeling coming away with 2nd place?
I feel good. We did a lot of good teamwork today. We really worried I wasn't going to make it for that stage on fuel, but other than that, though, man, everybody for the most part race cleaned around me. Teammates were awesome. I was really confused as why GT took the outside in that last green right checker because I had Bird on my inside, so I was like, all right, we'll take it. But props to Norris. That move he made to pass me for the win, that was insane on his part. So props to him, but I'm excited to be back. We're gonna try to run this full season. Hopefully we can make more finishes like this. So
definitely a great way to start it off, Austin, man. So congrats on that. It's the 2nd place finish here tonight. I mean, looking back to last season where you were part-time, I mean, your best finish was 13th. So that's got to be a huge momentum and confidence builder heading into the rest of this season. How do you feel heading into a track like Las Vegas next week with this momentum?
Really good, honestly. So Vegas is a fun track. I feel like I'm pretty good at it. I've had a lot of Coke drivers and Rotopro drivers kind of give me some pointers the last couple months. So hopefully we can take what I learned and bring it into this season this year, and hopefully we can pick up a couple wins and stuff like that. So I'm excited.
And we're excited for it as well, Austin. Again, congratulations on 2nd place. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
Honestly, shout out to everybody at Lady Apex, Bird, Kyle, and Chase. I mean, I wouldn't have been in that position if it wasn't for them. Gotta call out, say Pepsi's better than Coke. That's a shout out to everybody in the league. Yeah, I mean, shout out for the league. We're excited. We're gonna have a fun year. Shout out to you guys as well for putting on an amazing broadcast.
Well, Austin, thank you for putting on a fabulous show there at the end. Congratulations on 2nd, and good luck on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
As we go from 2nd place, let's go to 3rd place as we get to talk to John Forbes in the 11 machine, who's been one of the most consistent drivers at Daytona and comes away with a top 3 finish. John, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. Congratulations on 3rd placement. How are you feeling after that chaotic finish?
I'm surprised, but not at the same time, because this seems to happen every time where I get in a wreck and just make it through the rest of them. But yeah, I got to go back to that lap 74 wreck. I square hit I think it was Whitley, and it completely ripped the nose off, ripped the fenders off. I thought the race was over. Had full RPMs, had 3 minutes of damage, fixed it under 2 cautions, and just somehow made it through the rest of them. That was crazy. I had Kanata following me up through them, and it just worked out in the end there.
That it really did, John. I tell you what, man, that's a great rebound for yourself. Didn't even notice that all that played out for yourself. But, looking at your stats, man, I mean, you've never, you finished 33rd here in an opener once before, but the other 4 finishes now, including tonight, have all been inside the top 5 and 3 of them in the top 3. What is it about this opening race in Daytona, man, that seems to click so well for you? Do you feel like this is one of your strengths?
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of it. Whenever the fixed races are here, just money races, just whatever, and I've always just loved it. And I feel like the skills you get for like blocking and side drafting and stuff carry over to a lot of other tracks. So I try to do a lot of these, and it's just, I don't know. But people like ask me like how I get through everything, and like I'm always there at the end. I don't know. I go with the flow. I just get the vibe of the pack, and just do my best to stay out of trouble when it happens. But yeah, like going into that last wreck, like I was just happy we got to the white flag. I was just happy to be in the race after the first incident I was in. Like that should have been an engine popper, but we were in it. So anywhere I could have finished, I would have been happy with, just to be there at the end. And then I saw everyone in front of me just start wrecking each other, and I held the gas down, got lucky with who I hit, got through it, and I just saw 2 other trucks in front of me. So it was also awesome to see Norris up here get the W. First race for the new team here, Revline and Snowy Desert. So it's cool to get 2 out of the top 5.
I mean, it was incredible to watch, John. Congratulations on 3rd place here this evening, and hopefully we can carry this momentum off into the next portion of the regular season. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours.
I just want to thank all the friends and family watching, sponsors, JD Performance Mods and Basel Lighting. Looking forward to some new apparel and stuff from Hot Lap Threads as well, so go check them out. And thank you guys for hosting these. I'm sure the call is going to be fantastic to go back and watch later. Looking forward to the next couple of weeks.
Well, that is going to be the 11 machine of John Forbes. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish, and good luck next week at Las Vegas.
Thank you, guys.
And our spotlight driver that we head down to, 5th place finisher, tied with the 2nd biggest mover of the night from where they qualified. The biggest mover was Austin Halsey in 2nd place with 23 positions up from where he qualified. The next one was this driver, Joshua Kanata. Josh, hey, 2 seasons in a row, we get to interview up in the booth. Congratulations on 5th. How are you feeling with that finish at the end?
Oh, I knew we weren't going to make it to the end. It was such a fun race. It was an aggressive race, and I just wanted to hang around the back the entire time like I did last season and just kind of hope for the best. And we were able to get through it at the end. Great job to Norris. I'm so happy for him. We were in the Discord and he was screaming. Great race for everybody here, and I'm so glad I made it to the end of it.
Oh, man, I can only imagine, Josh. Congrats on making it to the end there, man. Like you said, you were in the Discord there with Snowy Desert Racing. They also were working together with Larson Line Racing tonight. How was the teamwork tonight? Because it seemed like you guys had your strategy pretty well planned out.
Yeah, it was great. In the first stage, we wanted to just short pit because we figure, a few guys would make it to the end, but, not enough for it to matter. We all got stage points, so that worked out. And I think Halsey said he ran out under the pace lap. And then second stage, we were able to stay hooked up and at least, lead half of it. And just glad we could all make it to the end. Both teams worked together great, and, maybe we could get together again in the future.
I might have to do so at Talladega. Josh, again, congratulations on a 5th place finish. Before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
Well, thank you to, again, Snowy Desert and Larson Line for having me along with them, and for Revline as well. Thank you guys for putting on a great show, everybody watching. And here's to another one next week.
That is going to be the 16 machine of Joshua Kanata coming away with 5th place. Congratulations on your finish here at Daytona, and good luck next week at Las Vegas.
Thank you.
As that is going to be our interviews of tonight. Got to talk to our top 3 and 5th place finisher of Joshua Kanata. What a run these drivers had here tonight. Had to use all 3 of our overtime attempts, tied with the longest Daytona race that these drivers have ever ran in the ISRC Truck Series, tying back all the way in Season 2. We got to see fabulous finish there. But, Zach, this pass right here is what gave Christopher Norris the win.
That it was, Sam. This was the moment. This is through 3 and 4 right here. And look at Justin Smith. You heard Chris Norris say thank you to him. Because look at the push he was getting. I mean, he was giving him everything he had, even going a little bit lower there. And that could have possibly been a wreck. But that's what you want from the driver behind you, is them giving it their all, coming to the line, so you can have that good head of steam and momentum coming to the checker flag. And luckily, that's what got Christopher Norris to there. And man, what a wild finish to tonight's race that had its low moments, had its wild moments, and also had its highs here down at the end.
Certainly is showing that this season could be just as dramatic as past seasons. I know a lot of drivers are fired up after tonight's run, but the drivers that are up front, fired up for a different reason. What a finish, and at the end, Christopher Norris, Austin Halsey drag racing their way across the line, where Christopher Norris was able to get it done. The rest of the field, you see the pieces and the parts flying off all these drivers, but at the end, it was the 38 holding strong and getting his first win of season 5 and getting it done for the Put It Out 250 presented by Hot Lap Threads. An incredible finish for the 38, and now sets their sights on the rest of the season. Before we get too far ahead, as the drivers are crossing the line on the replay, let's take a look at our unofficial results, as it's going to be Christopher Norris getting the win, Austin Halsey in second, John Forbes third. It's Noah Steele coming away with 4th place after being a lap down, having to fight his way to get back on the lead lap, comes away 4th. The 16 of Joshua Kanata comes away with 5th, Logan Brakey 6th, Justin Smith 7th, with Ryan Ferraro at one moment was stuck in pit road with acquired damage. 8th place for the 34 machine. Joshua Freed caught up with our first caution of the day in 9th, and GT Rosari, he was strong up front but fell all the way back to 10th.
That was a good top 10, man, but there was definitely some drivers that made noise outside of it. I mean, Ryan Bird, you look there in 12th, he was definitely having a good night coming down into the 3 and 4, didn't end up well. Trenton Jump had an up and down night for himself, was involved in some incidents there in 15th. We also had drivers like Mark Whitley back all the way in 23rd, who are contenders for us. Danny Cochran back there in 27th, who are, past Final Four contenders and champions that had really tough nights to start out season 5. Even Cody Reed back in 19th, Ali Fonseca in 17th. So it's kind of a mixed bag all around, and some drivers that needed good runs to start out their season really started off with a great one here at Daytona.
You start off on the right foot, and if you thought the fireworks were crazy here tonight, get ready. Next week, the drivers head to Las Vegas, where the fireworks have flown high in past seasons. We've seen teammates take each other out. We've seen intentional wrecks, and we've seen the flare of incredible finishes at almost every time they head to that place. Excited for Las Vegas and these drivers, excited for how the season has started. Well, Zach, I cannot believe it. Usually we get talk about future ventures that we have of other leagues that we're going to be covering. Crazy to think we're stuck with ISRC until July, so we have to wait until next week for our next broadcast.
That we do, so make sure everybody comes back Monday. And like you said, Las Vegas, I'm excited for that one, man. We've seen some wild moments at Las Vegas, to say the least. I mean, it's been all over the place for sure in the past there, so can't wait to see what type of racing we have with the trucks there. I'm sure it's going to be high competition once again, and like you said, just come back to us next Monday and we'll get you some more racing action. And as we get into July, man, it's going to be all back full bore once again, a couple nights a week.
I mean, cannot wait for all the new leagues that we're going to be getting back to in July. But ISRC Truck Series, they get to have all the coverage for these next couple of weeks. Las Vegas, the next destination. We got to see a new Daytona opener winner, that being Christopher Norris, going to be joining what a historic group of Danny Cochran, John Forbes, and Eric Stamp winning at Daytona. Welcome to the club in the 38, and for the rest of the field, they got to reset up, and get ready to go to Las Vegas next week. But for tonight, for myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, Robert Moyer Jr., and everyone else here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thank you so much for watching with us here on Monday evening. We'll see you next week. Should be a good one, and I cannot wait for our next Freaky Fast broadcast.